How's your ma? Is your dad working? That's the real question today. Is your dad working? Well, he probably isn't, considering we're all in bleeding quarantine. But he could be working. And if you don't know what the fuck I'm on about and you've never heard how's your dad working before, you just need to move out of the country, basically. But yeah, welcome back. I'm a bit fucking all over the shop because of this podcast. Do you see what I mean? I even fucked up that sentence. I'm a bit all over the shop because of this quarantine business. But apparently fucking Leo Varadkar said that I don't actually pronounce it like that, don't worry. Apparently Big Daddy Leo said you can relax because I'm gonna start lifting the in isolation restrictions just one at a time. So that's happy fucking days. Do you know what I mean? There was a bit of a cut there, but the reason behind the cut was I was fucking seeing if I was recording it from my podcast microphone or fucking microphone attached to my computer, because twice now that's happened where I've recorded. The first time I recorded a 30-minute episode and the second time I recorded a 25-minute episode, but both times was with my fucking mic that was built into my PC rather than the mic that I bought. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm fucking drunk with words tonight. Recording this a day in advance for once. Recording this on Friday the 1st of May, the start of summer as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if it's officially the start. You always have them weirdos like, well, no, actually it's not summer until September, it's all backwards because like, I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Hate them types of people. Did you know August is actually in autumn? And I'm like, yeah, right. I don't give a half of a ball. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't give the slightest bollocks. But I put a little fucking poll up on the Instagram. And if you're listening to this and you don't follow the Instagram, just a big fuck you to you. You should do that. You should follow the Instagram. No, I'm joking. You don't have to follow whatever you don't want to follow. I hate YouTubers and streamers. I was like on YouTube and Twitch and that, you're like just watching, and it's always the bit like the small community streamers like Al, the Just Man Up podcast. Them streams are great. Do you know what I mean? Because they're just there for the laugh, and they're there to play games, and they're there to chat with the people in the stream and stuff like that. And it's always the bigger streamers. Like there's one fella, FaZe Swag, which he's black. Like, well, he's not black. He's definitely mixed. And if he's not mixed, he's just unfortunate. There's just something went wrong there. But I'm not saying it's wrong to be mixed race before all the SJWs come at me. I'm saying he's either mixed or he's just a weird looking white fella. But he's mixed and he's ginger. But like, he has a fresh cut and all, like he's a fresh bloke, but like I've just never seen, like, it's rare to see like someone who's mixed and red. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I was watching him, and like he's just like, if I get another headshot here, you guys better sub. I better get five gifted in the chat right now. If I get another headshot, you guys better sub. And I'm like, stop just begging for subs constantly. You're already making a stupid amount of money from Twitch every month anyway, from all your stupid little simp subscribers who are like, oh, pick me, read out my donation. Fucking, I swear to God, it's the cringiest community ever. I'm talking about the big streamers now, like, because I'm gonna start streaming myself soon, like, do you know what I mean? But I'm talking about the big streamers, like the lads who, like I'm saying, like all them FaZe Clan cunts and anyone who's like big, and they're all just like just playing. A guy on me, guy on my left, two dudes on me. Oh yeah, sure. Oh well, oh hey, Unicorn 420, thank you so much for the 20 dono. Like, oh, everything is just all donations and fucking gifted and blah blah blah. Like, they're not there for the game. They're really, I know it's their job, but they're really treating it like their job. But yeah, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by myself, I put a poll up on Instagram, and nearly got sick all over the place there, and to ask you lot if you wanted to hear an accent challenge, which I would have done, or you wanted another weird one, another weird podcast. Like, as you know, I missed last week, but every second podcast will be a bit on the weirder side, and then every kind of other podcast, then I was going to do it monthly, but I'll do it every second one will be weird, because there's so much weird shit out there available on the internet. Like, there's so much weird fucking shit. So this week we'll be concentrating on two things mainly. Firstly, the pyramids. After researching them more, I'm like, what the fuck is going on there? Do you know what I mean? And secondly, I'll try to pronounce this name correctly, the Exorcism of Annalise Michelle Annalise Michelle. That's it. Now, Annalise, we'll start off talking about her. This is the exorcism, or alleged exorcism, that was then originally converted into the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose. If you've seen it, I remember I seen it when I was younger, and it started off about a 4-year OCD type path where I'd be fully convinced if I didn't do certain things before I went to bed that I'd definitely be possessed, and it was just not a good buzz, like. But yeah, so it's a scary film, as you know, if you've seen it. Well, you'd probably look at it now and be like, that's bleeding stupid, she has a mad bleeding head. No, it's like, it's, if you're scared of demons and all, which I used to be, I sort of am now, it's hard to say if they're real or not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to give much of my opinion on it. I'll just give it, just going to give the facts of what happened during this case that ended up turning into one of a big court case and stuff. But so basically, she was born in 1952 in Germany. One sec. Just hitting my Juul, bro. Fuck. Nearly choked on all the smoke. I don't even have a Juul. I have this big fucking 1914 World War One army tank of a fucking thing. But right, enough vaping. Born in 1952 in Germany, and she was born Catholic, right? Like majority of people listening to this podcast, she was born Catholic, and when she was 16, she had a blackout, like her first kind of blackout, and she was in bed as well after that, and like around the same time, and she felt as though something was sitting on her chest. Right now, I was reading this when I researched the case, and I was like, holy fuck, this sounds like a panic attack, do you know what I mean? I was just like, this is going to give me a panic attack, do you know what I mean? Blacking out and then feeling like something sitting on your chest. I'm like, this is a panic attack, like, do you know what I mean? This cunt has anxiety, do you know what I mean? She's not possessed, but then it gets weird. And in August of 1969, she went to a neurologist, which is a brain specialist, someone who specialises in the brain. The brain, where's the clam cracker? No, she specialises in the brain. I'll stop getting off track now because it's probably fucking annoying. And they thought it was a seizure, right? So they done a brain scan, and everything came up normal, which was kind of weird and kind of fed back into my thought of, well, maybe she just has fucking anxiety, like, do you know what I mean? But spring then of 1973, her and her sisters, they'd heard knocking on the doors and on the walls of the bedroom, and she was like, obviously freaking the whole family out. And it kind of, the creepy part about this as well is, if she had only heard the knocking, I'm like, yeah, right, she's gone skits, do you know what I mean? But the fact that the whole family could hear the knocking was a bit heavy, do you know what I mean? It was a bit like, well, hold on, do you know what I mean? That's a bit mad. And the mother claimed she saw her staring at a statue of the Virgin Mary with fully blacked out eyes. Right, now that would have been okay, right? But then they added, and claw-like hands, like, do you know what I mean? So, like, when you see your daughter with a pair of paws, you know what I mean? You're going to be a bit like, hold up, do you get me? Like, but, so you see, apparently blackout eyes and claw-like hands. I'm just reading this from the case, like, do you know what I mean? So, it's not like I'm making any of this up. And then in September of 1973, she described she saw demonic faces, and she could smell burning shit all the time, like actual burning shit. And the doctor recommended they should consult like a religious official to deal with the rest of what the fuck was going on, because they couldn't describe it through science. So they were like, well, let's ask God. And then they consulted with a priest called Father Alt, and she was diagnosed with a neurotic and possible epilepsy and epileptic seizures and epileptic patterns. And then July 1975, she barely slept by this time. She prayed for some reason 24/7, and she ate, like, this part freaked me out. She ate spiders and even licked her own urine up off the floor, like. And she exhibited superhuman type strength, even though she was a pretty small bird. Do you know what I mean? Like, she was pretty small, but she exhibited like superhuman like strength. And there was a story, well, not a story, there was a account her mom said of her exploding an apple with one hand. Like, she just held an apple in her hand and just popped it. Now I thought, like, that's grand, like, you know what I mean? That's not that that's not that hard, but it is actually hard, you know what I mean? Because I'm at them and squeezing an apple for a while and it's not getting anywhere, like. And so after many exorcisms, which are recorded as well and are actually disturbing, I'll try find links to them in the description. They are actually proper disturbing. They're a little bit hard to listen to, but if I can get the audio file, I'll try attach them to this, but I'm not sure if there'll be some sort of copyright to it or something. But if I can get the audio files, I'll attach it to this podcast. But if not, I'll definitely leave them in the description. But they're on record, and they're actually in the Vatican as well. There's more cases like that in the Vatican. And this was really weird. She named a demon called Fleischmann, and he was a man. The demon the demon name that the man that it was based off, the demon, like that demon Fleischmann, was a man who was kicked out of the church in the 1950s for bad behaviour. He was a member of the church, and she gave details like any regular young girl, like she couldn't have known them, as the priest said. You know what I mean? And he, like, which is kind of like, because I'm on two minds about reading all of this. I'm like, well, first of all, this is bollocks, but second of all, like, when they say things like that, it's like, well, hold on a minute, that's a bit mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, the fact that she's given, like, this is in the 1970s that this all got really bad, and she was giving details of something that happened in the 1500s. You know what I mean? And in the 1970s, all everyone knew was God, Bible, like, and I'm not sure if it was this time included. Well, it definitely wasn't this time. But originally, like, Mass was only said in Latin. And now this is much before 1970, but Mass was only said in Latin, and like, to be able to read or write was an extreme educational advantage back. Now I'm talking way longer before this. So like, majority of the time, like, the way religion worked was like keep people in the dark. So, and it would have continued up until this era, the 1970s and stuff, that people would have been kept in the dark, and it would have been like, oh no, you say your prayers and you'll go to heaven. And it was kind of like, or else you'll go to hell. And it was just, hell was sort of just the be good and give the money to the church and you won't go there. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, there would have been no talk about this Fleischmann in the church or anything. You know, he wouldn't have been a figure they'd discuss in the church. You know what I mean? Stop messing now, you'd be getting kicked out like Fleischmann, like, you know what I mean? And she also, by May 1976, she was biting herself and others. She weighed less than 80 pounds at this stage as well. That's 5 stone, right? She was a tiny oak. And tiny oak, that's not the right fucking terminology, but still, yeah, she was small anyway. And but she distinguished, again, unnatural strength. When people tried to restrain her, she was able to fuck them off. She was able to throw them around the room and everything. And she was also, during one of the clips of the exorcism, she was saying, we're all in here, it's me, Lucifer, Hitler, and just start naming off a lot of evil people. So I'm like, well, I mean, like, fucking hell, do you want to fucking start naming off supervillains as well while you're at it? I mean, it was a bit kind of cliche, than the evil people she was naming off. But anyway, she died of starvation at the age of 23, weighing close to the 4 stone at the time. And this was after 67 exorcisms. And because of the way she died, this was then brought to court. You know, this case was brought to court. It was basically the country, the legal system of Germany against her parents and against the church, virtually, because at near the end of the fucking exorcisms and stuff like that, they were refusing medical treatment. She was saying the demon wasn't letting her eat and the demon wasn't letting her take medical help and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, well, her parents should have forced these injections or forced something to stop her from dying of starvation, you know what I mean? And so it was basically, they were getting done for negligence. Jesus Christ, that's a hard word to say. They were getting done for negligence. And I'm going to have another vape because I'm not here to impress anybody. It's proper nice. Shortbread cookie flavour. Telling you, banging. But yeah, so getting done for negligence, and the parents got charged with this out of the church. But I mean, in my opinion, like, the family itself, like, it's a creepy case. It is a creepy case nonetheless. I know I've said it lightheartedly and stuff, but this girl thought she was possessed by something. They done the 67 fucking exorcisms on her, and then she died of starvation after, and she was licking up her own piss and fucking eating spiders and all. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's Talbot Street type stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's heavy. Like, and she's like, and then she dies of starvation. That's it. There's no happy ending there. Like, you know what I mean? See you later, Annalise, whatever your name is. You know what I mean? She just died of starvation, gone. So it's a disturbing enough case, like, but at the end of the day, I do think the parents are maybe like, unless they, right, if there really was a demon in her, which is terrifying to think, like, if that's real, that's fucking scary. Do you know what I mean? That really is, like, that's terrifying. If there was, then I mean, there's no one really to blame. I mean, if she could have been kept alive longer, then I'm sure they would have done the stuff they could have done. But then again, if the family was this creepy religious fucking family who were like, oh no, as long as we pray to the Blessed Mary, you'll be okay. I mean, and obviously that didn't work. She died of starvation, a human a human condition, starvation. I mean, if the demon really did take over our body, demons are apparently immortal, and they don't show signs of, like, they're not human, but they inhabit human bodies. If there was a demon that took over, then surely the demon wouldn't have to eat. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a weird one, but it's dark as well. The fact that she's real and she's dead, and I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, there's people dying every day and all. And I understand that, but it is still a bit weird. It's still a bit dark, you know. But yeah. It's mad. If you want any sort of, let me know in the comments as well if you want me to do, like, because I've got a lot of stories, not stories, personal stories, but I mean, like, actual just stories from seeing around and other urban legends and stuff like that, of, like, basically that, urban legends and paranormal shit, because I like talking about that. It freaks me out. Like, it's getting dark here now, and I love that feeling of, like, I'm shitting myself. Do you know what I mean? That's another thing I was meant to touch on. I'm probably going to be starting either a second channel or a second playlist on this channel of just me playing horror games. Just like, you'll just be watching me shit myself, because I can't play them without absolutely crying. So I don't think I'm going to do it on Twitch. I think I'm going to do it on YouTube, but I'll see. Or I might do it on Facebook. The Facebook has a streaming service now. I've seen a few gamers stream on it, so could do that. But the next thing is a bit more interesting and a bit light-hearted. It's the pyramids. So, right, the pyramids are mad, right? And, like, they are. So the bricks, right? The bricks that would start off like simple, right? The bricks that were used to build the pyramids, they weighed more than your average elephant, right? Now you have to realise these lads didn't have machines, they didn't have anything, they just had sleighs. Another common misconception. They weren't built by slaves, they were built by paid workers. That's another one. And another unknown fact, but which doesn't really matter, but still it does kind of, because slaves wouldn't be fed as well as paid workers. So unless they're brickies or something, they're usually pricks. But no offense if anyone's a brickie, but they are usually pricks. But so these bricks, they weighed more than your average elephant, and they had to move them across miles and miles of just fucking desert, you know what I mean, with some fucking pharaoh cunt sitting on top of them, or sitting somewhere just going, yeah, that looks strange, yeah, just move that over there, right? Now that'd be normal if they were building something like, you know, Stonehenge or whatever it's called, that thing that kind of, what's it, monolithic build, that the thing that apparently it represents a fucking calendar. If they're building something like that, right, fair, I could understand how people could explain it. But these pyramids, the 3 pyramids of Giza, whatever the fuck you pronounce it, like, they're situated directed to true north, right, to actual true north, at 1/10 of a degree accuracy, right? Now, do you know how big these things are? Fucking huge, right? And they're but 1/10 of a degree, like, it's just unbelievable how fucking precise that is, right? And they were once covered in the 3 of them were once one big huge limestone pyramid, right? And basically, like, just like it shined from the, like, unbelievably from the light of the sun. And the limestone that they used was like, had an insane amount of magnesium in it, which is a really good conductor of electricity. So it's a bit kind of like, why would they need that, you know what I mean? But after earthquakes and stuff like that, after time, the limestone was worn off, and now you're just left with the big bastards on their own. But yeah, they're precisely aligned to the north, as I've already touched on. But like within like such a small degree that scientists are still unable to explain how or why this happened. Now this next fucking part freaked me out when I read it, because it's true. So apparently the curse of Pharaoh protected the pyramids, right? Apparently the Sphinx protected the dead. They protected the dead pharaohs because they were originally built. Apparently, it depends what you look up. But apparently they were built. Some people say they were built for tombs for pharaohs. Some people say they weren't even built for that at all. But the Sphinx guarded the dead, right? And the Curse of Pharaoh guarded it from the living, right? Now this part's fucked up, right? Now, so originally, that back in the day they were like, right, this pharaoh, the Curse of Pharaoh is going to protect it, right? And now many modern like researchers have been they've went into the pyramids and stuff like that, like, as you know, and I don't know, they better be still closed off, but pyramids are closed off to the public. You can't go in, closed off to everybody really. And so now there's countless cases of this happening, right? Modern day researchers have went into the pyramids, and they've been literally like struck when they left with, like, within a couple of weeks, with intense illnesses, and then a lot of them have died. Like, like loads of people have died who went in there just randomly, right? And now scientists and people like that are saying it's because of the bacteria. It's like old bacteria or whatever like that. And then other people say it's the curse, but I mean, it's you to decide, like. But, and one thing I want to touch on as well is aliens, right? And the pyramids. Like, some people think that aliens built them. Some people think it wasn't aliens, but it was a past civilization, that they existed before the Egyptians and passed on the information to them. And, like, it's so weird because it's like they're such unrealistically precise fucking, like, structures. Like, they're just mad. Like, do you know what I mean? I was like, and they've always just been around, like, well, obviously, but I'm saying they've always just been a thing. Oh yeah, go to Egypt, look at the pyramids, do the weird Egyptian dance, yeah, pictures on the wall. But it's like, when you actually look into how fucking precise they were and how, like, weirdly accurate they are, it just fucks with your head. Like, because as well, another thing, apparently now, I know I wasn't sure this because I seen it somewhere and I wasn't sure it was true. Apparently the length by breadth of the pyramids, the area of the pyramids, is the same in meters as the world is round in miles. Do you know what I mean? Which is like, I know, come on. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a bit like, what are you talking about? Like, do you know what I mean? That's a bit fucking mad, like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, there's some weird alignment with all the different wonders of the world, the way they're located around the world and stuff. And it's just backwards, man. It's just like, it's just mad. Like, look into it. I'll leave some links and stuff down below to look into it. And I sounded like an outfit there, didn't I? Look into it. Yeah. Do that. Eat your bleeding dinner. But no, I'll leave a few links down below and you can have a look. But yeah, it's mental. It really is. But that was the only two kind of subjects I was touching on this week. Was just that exorcism story. And I think that'll be good, rather than to pick kind of, whenever I'm doing one of the weird ones, I'll be picking kind of two topics and I'll be sticking to the both of them. Do you know what I mean? And I'll just do two detailed outlooks on the two topics. You know what I mean? And then I think that'll make more sense than, like, just talking shite. Well, I know I always make a fucking stupid pun about the name of the podcast every time and I don't even mean it. But yeah, that'll make more sense. I think next week I might do the accent challenge. Regardless of polls and that, I might just do the accent challenge next week, just for the laugh. Only thing is, with the accent challenge, you need the camera on, because, like, with some of the impressions, 90% of them is facial expression, you know what I mean? So it's a toughie. But I don't know, I keep saying real weird shit. Like, I never say it's a toughie, do you know what I mean? But yeah, so still don't really know why I'm doing this, to be honest. I'm gonna do another one about, I need to touch on mental health again, because I'd say a lot of people's mental health is deteriorating through all of this. But check out Alan's podcast, Just Man Up, as well. That's great for mental health. And the Facebook page as well, Just Man Up, on not Facebook, on Instagram, and I'll link that down below as well. But yeah, I'm gonna chill out tonight and probably play too much Warzone again, because that's all I've been fucking doing. And yeah, I mean, that's it. There's no point in me blabbering on. If you want the podcast to be longer, I can make them longer. Do you know what I mean? I could talk, or I could pick two other topics. I have more notes there. I could pick two other topics and talk about two other ones for another half an hour here. But I think a half an hour, in and around the half hour, 25 minutes, half hour, is a nice amount for one, because it's usually the amount of time that someone spends walking or spends on the spin bike or something like that. So, because that's what people like. It's rare to someone just puts on a podcast and stares at the wall. Do you know what I mean? It's a podcast is a background thing. You're usually walking, you're usually jogging, you're usually doing something else with it on in the background. So I think this time around 25 minutes to half an hour is perfect, I think, because then other than that, otherwise people would be listening to half of it and then just like, oh yeah, I'll listen to the rest of that later, and then they never get around to listen to the rest of it, and then I'm referencing things in the next podcast that you don't know about and blah blah blah. So yeah, kind of went on a bit of a rant there, but yeah, that's it. I mean, look, as Leo said, they're slowly starting to lift restrictions. Like, yeah, right, it's gonna be a while before you can go on a mad rip, but that'll be good for you, trust me. It'll be good for all of us. Just stay off the lash for a while, for a good while, and yeah, take it day by day. That's basically it. Yeah, have a good one. Watch a funny film. Have a wank. I said that in the other podcast. I need to fucking stop talking about wanking on here. And yeah, get a takeaway. Fuck it. Do you know what I mean? You're entitled. You're gorgeous. No, go on. I'll leave you to it. Let me know if you've enjoyed this week's episode and all that jazz. Go on. Keep it real.
Hi.